Welcome back to Cure the Common Game. Today, in deck number 925, we're going to be talking about Liberator, Urza's Battlekeeper. And once again, this deck is brought to you by the wonderful, wonderful patrons of our channel. Thank you so much. Couldn't do it without you. And Dragon Shield, who has sponsored our channel. So, this particular deck is in Dragon Shield Silver Mats. You can find them at your local game store. And with that, let's get to it. Now, Liberator has a lot of text that we cannot read, so we're going to zoom in a little bit there we go. Urza's Battletopter. Flash Flying, 1/2, so that's not bad for 3 mana, right? You may cast colorless spells and artifact spells as though they had flash, so since this is our commander, obviously we are in a colorless deck. Mana symbols are not, well, besides the colorless mana symbol, is not allowed in the deck. So everything is going to be colorless or artifact. And so this is like having a flying Vidalcan Aura in the command zone. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast that spell is greater than the Liberator's power, put a 1/1 counter on it. Now, I intentionally have artifacts and spells all the way up the chain. So, Liberator can get pretty big. Let's start with our ramp. It does solve, Liberator solves the big problem of, previously in colorless decks, you had to run the Aura, hope you get it so that you could actually do something at instant speed. But with Liberator, it solves that problem. You can do anything at instant speeds, or anything in your deck, that is. But let's start with our mana ramp, shall we? Of course, we got that Soul Ring, Mind Stone, Wayfarer's Bauble, Thran Dynamo, Hedron Archive, Seer's Lantern, Liquid Metal Torque, Pristine Talisman, Gilded Lotus, Guardian Idol, Everflowing Chalice, Thought Vessel. Dreamstone Hedron actually acts as a 2-for-1 here, because I played this deck yesterday, and I used the Hedron until I didn't need it, and then I sacked it to draw 3 cards, which got me some other good stuff, Burnished Heart. Y'all know how much I love Burnished Heart. It ramps you up. And while Journeyer's Kite is not exactly ramp, it can make sure you don't miss a land drop. So that's not bad either. Now, these 4 are not ramp, but they kind of are. Cloud Key, obviously we're choosing artifacts, Foundry Inspector, Jor's Familiar, and Thran Temporal Gateway. Obviously not ramp, but if you can, use the gateway to smack out something huge as a blocker, that's pretty big. Now, I have played this deck a couple times, but yesterday was the first time I was actually able to get the Phyrexian Processor in play. I paid 20 life, and I started making 20/20 creatures. They are not artifacts, though. They are minions, so they didn't last that long. Luckily, my artifacts were protected by the Darksteel Forge, but the minions were not. Now, for card draw, Sandstone Oracle, I drew 3 cards off of it. I mean, it's better than nothing. I only paid 5 for it, though. So, Mystic Forge, here again, not card draw, but access to more cards is card advantage. It equals the same to me. Now, I have some stuff in here that is, before we get to the other categories, just because it's good. Stronic Resonator, copy target triggered ability. Our commander's ability getting those counters is a triggered ability. Unwinding Clock, just because, it could be ramp, it could be draw, it could be creature help. Give them, but you're just untapping everything. Hadn't been lucky enough to see the clock yet. The Mirror Works. Yeah, just copying all your things. Sculpting Steel is awesome. Voltaic Key untaps most of the deck, Spencer's Journal. Now, Serpent Generator is one of those personal cards of mine. I love Serpent Generator. I know it's crazy expensive. You're out 10 mana before you get your first snake. But it's funny, and hey, if you've got the clock, I know. There are better cards, I know. Lithiform Engine's pretty good, and then Smelting Vat. But let's look at our equipment. Yes, there is a Helm of the Host there because, well, it's amazing. Why wouldn't there be? Getting multiple copies of, I mean, Living the Dream is what? Burnished Heart? I'm small-minded if I think that's Living the Dream. But for me, that is Living the Dream. Quite a spike. I forgot this card. This card just bodied me at the pre-release because here I am playing Brothers War stuff, you know, and they put out the little 3-mana 1/1 flyer that every set has in an artifact, and they're like, play this. It's like a Pilgrim's Eye or whatever, and I was like, all right, you know, I got time, and they strapped quite a spike to it, and yeah, that was bad. Swiftfoot Boots, Whisper Silk Cloak to protect our commander. And then good old-fashioned Black Blade Reforged, because, you know, it's really good. Anything, Black Blade Reforged is one of those cards that just rewards us for playing the game. You know, just by, we're going to play lands anyway. And yeah, it's best used in decks that have used that philosophy, Titania, Zeus, or whatever. But, man, it's a heck of a Magic card. I do have some non-artifacts. There is a 5 Eldrazi cards here. You know, the Endbringer, Ulamog's Crusher, Warden of Geometry is a little bit of ramp there. Spatial Contortion, because I wanted an instant for no other reason. And then It That Betrays. And that's pretty much it. Yes, this deck would probably be great to add Eldrazi Titans in. Sure, every deck would. I mean, but let's look at our creatures now. Traxos does a lot of work. I know Chris loves this card. Traxos is a beautiful card, especially when dang near every card in your deck untaps it. Metalwork Colossus. Haven't drawn it, but there's a good chance it's gonna be free. I'm running Suchi, mainly it's new, it's full. I needed just a big beater there. Vigilance Ward 4. The 8 cost doesn't really bother me as much because we have a lot of ramp and whatnot. Chief of the Foundry does not like to be in the box. It's okay to think outside of the box. Just make sure you've explored what's in the box first. I do apologize if y'all hear like something that sounds like the roof is coming down. I am filming here at the shop today, and we are getting a new HVAC unit up on the roof. So it, in fact, may be coming down. I don't know. If it does, we'll know together. We're getting kind of high up here, so let's see if we can't. Got that good Wormcoal engine. Now this is beautiful for the Helm of the Host. If your table will let you get that off. I have had the 2 cards out before, but they have never let me equip it. Something tragic always happens to one of the pieces when I go to try. We have Scrap Trawler, Thran Spider, Scavenged Brawler, Arcbound Crusher, everybody's favorite Ornithopter, Hope of Girpur, Darksteel Colossus. Blightsteel would be good too, but I don't have one, and it's a pretty penny. I know there's a new secret layer that's makes it affordable, but anyway, Lodestone Mirror, Mirrorball, the Battlesphere, Darksteel Juggernaut is not to be underestimated. This is actually probably more dangerous than the Helm of the Host and the engine, but indestructible, has to attack, and man, it gets big quick. And then this is another one of my old favorites, the Dragon Engine. I know, there's better stuff, but Dragon Engine just, yeah. um, y'all saw that we had the Darksteel Forge in here, so that makes things like the Nevernal's Disc really, really good. The O Stone, Spine of Ishsaw, Steel Hellkite I count as removal, and then Portal to Phyrexia, because each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures. That is silly. So that leads us to our non-basic lands, which there are a bunch. I have a few waste in the deck, not much, like that many, but colorless decks really thrive on their non-basic lands. We have lots and lots of options. Now, first there is Urza's Mine, Urza's Power Plant, and Urza's Tower, and we added the new Urza's Workshop. I mean, the Metalcraft's not even it's gonna happen. Buried Ruin, getting that artifact back. Stalking Stones becomes an artifact creature. Rogue's Passage lets our commander, who's finally gotten all those counters up, to get in for that sweet commander damage win. Sanctum of Ugin, Access Tunnel, Reliquary Tower, Glimmer Post. If everybody in the world runs a Glimmer Post, it's like the best card in the deck, in any of our decks. Yeah, I know it's never going to happen, but no, I'm not thinking Glimmer Post. I'm thinking Cloud Post. Cloud Post would be the good one. Blink Moth Nexus, Ghost Quarter, Drown Your Temple. Blast Zone did work for me in that game yesterday. My buddy Jimmy had gotten the Karametra thing off, and there was an inordinate amount of 2-drops. And I was able to thin that out with the Blast Zone. Yeah. Darksteel Citadel, Foundry of the Consoles. And lastly, our last card is Zhalfir and Void, which, it comes into play untapped. It's a strict upgrade to a waste, so, yeah. Well, that is what we have got for Liberator today. I do appreciate y'all watching. Thank you so much. And I am going to keep trying to plug along here. I know if y'all notice, I have been trying to do a deck video every 12 hours. That is a grueling pace. I'm going to try to keep that up as long as I can because last year there was 425 commanders. One a day is no longer enough, and I frankly wasn't even doing that. Hadn't for a while, but it's time. It's time to get back serious because I feel like 2023 is going to be no different in their Legend releases because they don't see anything wrong with it. Anyway, that's what I've got for today. Thank y'all so much. Love you deeply. But right now, it is time to shuffle and cut.